Ecofeminism. Ecofeminism has become an increasingly important field in both contemporary feminist and environmental studies. Although, as Diamond and Orenstein note, ecofeminism is really a new term for an ancient wisdom, Mies and Shiva 1993. 1-3 It first came to prominence in the early 1980s, its basis in feminist philosophy, environmental activism and the European and American peace movements of the late 1970s. The term itself was first used by Françoise Daubon in 1980, Mies and Shiva 1993, 13, and was increasingly adopted by both scholars and environmental activists. Ecofeminism stresses the indissoluble connectedness, both physical and conceptual, of the Earth itself, and all life on it. Humans, as a part of this community, depend on Earth and sea, and the life this generates for survival, but they are even more fundamentally of it, one component part of the living whole. The tenets of Enlightenment reason rely for their continuing power on a number of linked and hierarchized binarisms: nature and culture, black and white, civilization and savagery, the human and the animal. As Mies and Shiva argue, wherever women acted against ecological destruction and the threat of atomic annihilation, they immediately became aware of the connection between patriarchal violence against women, other people and nature. The corporate and military warriors' aggression against the environment was perceived almost physically as an aggression against our female body. Western rationality, which still assumes that the basis of human civilization consists in a progressive detachment from nature, also dominated the colonial period. The more closely associated with nature non-European peoples and women were considered to be, the more inherently inferior they were. Inferiority ensured and justified patriarchal Western civilization's destruction and domination of other lands and peoples. Land itself, cast as a female and new to Europeans, was ripe for conquering and taming. The legacy of the dominant discourse, as ecofeminists recognize, is environmental devastation and ongoing destruction of plants, animals and other subject peoples in the name of capitalist progress, identified as civilization. Ecofeminism thus seeks to establish, or in the case of some colonized cultures, to re-establish, a sense of interconnectedness of being, through ontological change and political activism replicating the philosophy of connectedness in an amalgam of theory and practice. As its affirmation of the shared ground of all being suggests, ecofeminism, especially in the United States, has strong spiritual as well as political and scholarly dimensions. Modern retrieval of the traditional confluence of material and spiritual being intimately connected to place and the earth in many pre-colonized cultures.